Just a quick warning before we start, this podcast does contain a few swear words. Thanks. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Business Life podcast from Food Circle. I'm James, obviously one of the founders of Food Circle, here with Paul.
Yep.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. And this week we've got another great conversation with another local entrepreneur and fitness expert, Mick Blythe. Good conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was really good. Really good conversation. I think people enjoy it. Anyone that's into fitness, into business and business will really, really enjoy this. The guy's an absolute legend, especially locally in Rotherham and Sheffield. He gives out some fantastic tips on, starting out as on your own as a PT and all that sort of thing, and fitness tips, how to stay dedicated. So yeah, it'll bring a lot of value to people, I'm sure. It's really good.
Yeah, loads of good stuff in there, both on business, fitness, and motivation. How to stick to a goal.
Yeah.
And being honest and being yourself, being authentic, especially on social media where there's so much. There's quite a lot of people who aren't authentic. As well. So yeah, really good conversation, and I hope you all enjoy it. Here we go.
Right then, Mick Blythe, thank you very much for coming on. Really looking forward to this. So let's get into it. Who are you, Mick? Where are you from? And also, how did you meet us, myself, Paul and James, Food Circle?
Guys, thank you very, very much for having me on. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it all week. Yeah, so my name is Mick Blythe. I don't know what my official title is, if truth be told. I just do a lot of things in sport and exercise. I've got my own facility where I do lots of like strength and conditioning work with athletes and personal training, one-to-one clients. But on top of that, I do a lot of teaching. I teach my own education workshop series. I work for a company that teaches other people to be personal trainers. And I just do a lot of like consultancy work for other businesses as well. Doing things like this, producing content for them, doing training with their staff and general advisory work and stuff like that. I've just always been a sport and exercise mad kid, really. From being 3-4 years of age, all I wanted to do was sport and exercise in some way. Always wanted to be a professional in sport, but when I kind of realised that wasn't going to be the case, from quite an early age, actually, probably like 14, 15, I just kind of turned my attention to doing what I thought was the next best thing. Yeah. And then teaching, coaching, and advising people, and it's been good.
Are you from a family of fitness beasts like yourself?
It's certainly a fit family. Fit family. My mum was a classic 1980s and 90s new age holistic mum that did like Jane Fonda exercise videos, not DVDs, videos. That's how old I am.
VHS,
yeah, that's how old I am. Yeah, and got us into like healthy eating. But my dad has always been into lifting and bodybuilding and stuff. And I suppose the kind of cheesy backstory about my facility now is that I learned to train in my dad's proper working man's class garage, 20 odd years ago. And it really was a working class man's garage. But I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It taught me far more than any qualification has ever done about training. Yeah. And I always said that, when I'm older, if and when I've got my own facility, I kind of purposely want it to look and resemble like a garage gym. I've got nothing wrong with big commercial gyms. They are absolutely amazing. But personally for me, they're just not my cup of tea. Yeah. I know they're not a lot of clients' cups of tea as well. And certainly in terms of the people I train and the stuff I like to do, it just doesn't work in commercial gyms. Yeah. So the little place I've got now, it's hot in summer and cold in winter, and it's a little bit beaten up, but it's kind of like my garage gym. But the best thing about having that, obviously, lads, is that's where I met you two, innit? So, that is destiny.
I was going to say, for some context for people listening and know about us at Food Circle, our first sort of industrial unit was in a place called Manvers, which is sort of outside Barnsley.
Yeah.
And we were about 6 months in. We had the one like unit at the business centre. We had hardly any stock in there. We were just getting on with it and trying to get some sales. And in our first couple of days, we heard someone shouting in the car park, like yes, do it, good, keep going. I'm like, what is going on here? Next door, this bloke next door, and it obviously turned out to be the absolute legend, Mick Blythe, putting your clients through some serious paces. And I've done a session with you. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
So it was a rude awakening to your type of training. And it went from there, really, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the tractor tyres in the yard were a signal as well of what might be to come when we moved in. Yeah.
And that's why then you very quickly moved out, isn't it? Ultimately.
Yeah, to be honest, we loved being next to you, next to your units. To be honest, it was great, but just location wise. To be honest, when we first moved in, we couldn't even afford it. We didn't really have any sales. We didn't really have a business. We was kind of like running out of money when we were there. But thankfully, things picked up from there, and we were able to move forward. But so it's a great introduction. And obviously, it felt there like there was a community of people that.
Yeah.
All sort of looked out for each other. I'm sure it's still like that now.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You were straight around to speak to us and ask us what we were doing and give us advice and buy some stuff and support us, which we really appreciated at the time. It was massive
absolutely. It was great to have you there. And, obviously delighted that you were at a level where you needed to move on and upgrade. But, just sad to see you go, really. Not just because I lost a steady stream of supplements and stuff, but you were just good people, weren't you? And
we're not now.
Success changed everything, didn't it? You were just good people, and obviously because we worked in similar areas, it was nice to have chats and stuff like that. I bet you've been gone though. But what is it? 2.5, 3 years?
God, yeah. I think it's more than 2, certainly. I think we moved down here to Dinnington, where we are now. We're just around the corner, but not in this premises, in about October 2018, I think. So
right?
We were about 10 months into our business, I think.
Right, well.
Just started to get a bit of traction.
Yeah. The main problem, it was so far away for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in Sheffield, James is in Donny. It was
and far away from us distribution wise and stuff like that as well, because our courier company's just around the corner here. So
location's massive when it comes to certainly to a business like we've got. And I had this conversation with personal trainers and gym owners and stuff like that. I do a lot of personal training mentorship programs, and the vast majority of people that have done it have then wanted to open up their own facility afterwards, which is probably why they kind of came to me in the first place. And, it's okay having an idea, but an idea and practice are two very, very different things. And, it's got to be right for you for lots of reasons. So, I'm under no illusions that where I am, it's been lucky for me, because it's, like you've said already, it's kind of just outside Barnsley, but also just outside Rotherham. But it's not too far down the motorway from Chesterfield and Sheffield and stuff like that. We've got a lovely big area outside that serves as like a sports hall. Yeah. So, you look at our units, our garages, and you think it's quite small, but actually we've then got 5 or 6 times that space outside.
Yeah.
I wasn't when I first moved there 5 years ago. I wasn't actually in the units I am now. I'm somewhere different, but I always wanted where I am now, because we've then got a big flat wall that works well. We've got almost like a ready-made, running track and stuff like that. So these are all like fine little nuances that you don't think about really. But when you find somewhere that works, your business improves exponentially, doesn't it? So
absolutely, yeah. I saw your 5-year anniversary post actually on Instagram lately.
Yeah,
and, it's just amazing what you've achieved. You've achieved so much in that time. So I wanted to ask you, sort of, in a nutshell, sort of how it went from a side project, as you said, to where it is today, and also sort of how you decided where you positioned yourself, really, because I know you said you wanted it to be like a garage gym like you had at home and stuff like that. But in terms of sort of being that one-to-one service for athletes and for people that want to obviously be coached more sort of one-to-one basis, more closely. How did you decide where to position yourself? Because there's obviously other people that have done a similar thing to you in a similar space and made it focused on group coaching, or you know, maybe less of a I don't know, premium service, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. So I suppose by trade, you know, I was like a college lecturer. So when I left school and went to college, 1999. I began working in gyms as a gym instructor, personal trainer there. But then, as that developed, I kind of went into teaching and spent about 11, 12 years teaching in colleges. I was doing some stuff up at Great Britain Boxing for a couple of years, the kind of cohort that I'd like, you know, Anthony Joshua Rain and Luke Campbell and all these guys that won Olympic gold medals and world championships. I was running a degree program at a college, and then I went to run a ice hockey academy for a couple of years. And they were all amazing, you know, they were fab. But formal education, as fantastic as it sounds, if there's any teachers listening, they will know what I mean here. It's great in some ways, but it's not so great in other ways. And cut a long story short, I kind of left working in full-time education to go self-employed for lots of reasons. I suppose above anything else, I just wanted to test myself and see if I could do it. I can't. Have you seen Jerry Maguire? Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
I haven't actually, no.
Have you never seen it? Wow,
No,
that's strange tonight. So, again, this is very corny and cheesy, this. Very, very corny and cheesy. I know it is.
We like that.
But within Jerry Maguire, he's basically doing one thing. And he's not majorly enjoying it. And he just has like an idea in the middle of the night. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do that. I want to do something else. But then the next day when he's made that decision, he kind of realizes that, oh, shit, I haven't really got many foundations to do that with. And that was exactly like me. Middle of the night, couldn't sleep. I just thought, I've just got to leave what I'm doing. I'm going to do it. Woke up the next day, emailed when I needed to email, and then sent it and went, bro, that's great. But what do I do now? Oh dear. So in summary then, you know, I just started to pull a lot of my contacts together and stuff that I'd done bits of, you know, started to do more and more of it. Just bringing things together to create a full-time job and wage ultimately, because as a homeowner and a parent, you know, you've got to do that. But as good as that was, I was kind of finding that I was getting pulled then here, there, and everywhere. You know, it's okay getting paid a good hourly wage to do a strength and conditioning session, but if that's the other side of Sheffield, by the time you then get to the other side of Barnsley, the money you're earning pro rata is not that great. I'd looked at working in professional sport. I was doing some strength and conditioning with some ice hockey teams and rugby teams, but financially it's not as cut and dried as it seems, and there's a lot of uncertainty in sport ultimately. You know, you can get the sack. You know, you follow football, you know a manager can get sacked like that, and all his coaching team go with it. So that wasn't an option. But as kind of luck would have it, I've been having some conversations with a close friend of mine and a colleague from somewhere else about opening a little facility. And we just kind of stumbled on this place. Again, as luck would have it, it was quite close to a new house I was moving into. And it was just like, look, let's do it. You know, costs are quite cheap. Let's do it. Let's just see what happens. It allows me to centralise a little bit, but I can then still do all my other things. And it just slowly grew, really. And it just slowly grew and grew and grew and grew. But I remember in the kind of initial conversations I was having with my friend about what we wanted to do, we kind of said, look, because of where we are, we're never going to be able to compete with kind of big commercial gyms. So let's not try and compete with them. You know, let's do something different. Let's be a niche in the area, and let's just do something that we particularly enjoy. And then that's when we came up with the kind of garage gym idea, you know, focusing on strength and conditioning that literally no one did in the area as a bespoke thing. You know, working in gyms is, you know, for years and years, we were always told, oh, you can't have under 18s in the gym. It's too dangerous. Insurance won't allow it. And I used to think, well, why can't you have kids in the gyms? It's like, they're like the best people to be in gyms. You want to instill those habits at a young age. So we wanted to start training young people. And just be like a little strength and conditioning performance hub for the area. Never for 1 minute thought it would be a full-time job. You know, I'm down there 95% of the time now, but that's just how business and life goes, isn't it? Sometimes
it evolves, and it takes time, it takes patience, doesn't it? I think a lot of people that want to start a business or start out on their own don't really understand how long things take, and patience is so important. Like, you know, you're not going to have loads of clients overnight, and you're going to have to get off your arse and try and get clients as well. They're not just going to come to you. So there'll be a lot of people listening. A lot of our customers are PTs, working commercial gyms and things like that. That, you know, might be thinking, I want to be a Mick. I want to start out by myself. You know, I'd love to do my own thing, have that dream. What would your main piece of advice be to someone that's in that position at the moment, that wants to start but just either hasn't, they just don't know where to start to, you know, to take the lead?
Ultimately planning. You know, planning. I teach in one of my educational workshops. I teach something called Be Your Own Boss, which is, you know, how to open your own unit gym. And one of the very first slides there is I talk about MOST action planning. MOST being an acronym for mission, objectives, strategy, and tactics. Basically using it as a top-down approach, you know, saying, you know, if you want to really separate yourselves, you know, from, you know, big commercial gyms or gym chains that, you know, are just incredible in terms of equipment range and what they can offer, and prices as well. I mean, you know, commercial gyms, they charge like $14.99 a month now. I mean, they kind of sneakily make the money in other ways, but it's $14.99 a month. I mean, that is like stupid cheap, isn't it? So if you're going to go up against those big guys, you've got to know who you are as a business. You know, you've got to know what you want from your business, and just confirm to yourself that is something that deep down you want to be involved in, because you guys know more than anyone else. Having your own business is like having a child. It's your baby, isn't it? And you never have a day off from being a parent. You know, even if your kids go to your grandparents, you're always thinking about them. You're always planning. You're always doing stuff, and you're just so invested in them. It keeps you awake at night. Even if your kids are sound asleep, you're just laid there thinking about something involved with your kids. And if then, as a business owner, if you've not got that same level of commitment, because deep down you're not enjoying it, or you're not doing what you want to do, you'll just not put the right amount of work into it, and it will just fade away. So, you know, an example I give is if someone comes to me and says, right, Mick, I want my own unit gym, I'll say, right, don't just tell me you want a gym, tell me what sort of gym you want. You know, if someone came to me and said, look, Mick, I want to open a clothes shop, I wouldn't go, oh, bro, crack on. I'd be, well, what sort of clothes shop is it? Is it male? Is it female? Is it high fashion? Is it sport? You know, what is it? And if they, for example, then say to me, oh, I want to focus on training females, I want to be a female training specialist, fine, brilliant. Because by knowing that, then everything can then filter down from it. How you make your gym look, all right? You know, and I know a lot of female gym owners that focus mainly on training females, and it looks, and this is not sexist at all, it looks very much like a feminine gym. It smells loads better than mine. Everything's brilliantly colour coordinated. There's plants there. It's clean. It's beautiful. They've not got big, huge, massive, heavy weights. They've got things that are applicable to that demographic. Any marketing or advertising they do, it's got a very specific feminine feel, and so on and so forth. Because if you try and target everyone, very often you target no one. You know, and a little bit like you guys. You guys know exactly what you do. You know, you sell what you sell. You therefore know what your target market is and where to do your research. And yeah, you might get clients naturally outside of that, but 99% of your time, your focus is on you. You know, you don't start thinking, I'll just do that, I'll just do that, I'll just do that. Because it just pulls you away from the main thing, really.
Yeah. You've got to have a focus, haven't you? You've got to, otherwise it just ends up becoming a mess. And
it does, yeah.
You don't know who you're marketing to. You don't know, and even in your head as well. You just feel, because we were like that when we first started. It was like, what sort of bars, what sort of products and categories are we going to sell? We can't just do everything, because there'll just be no direction. So yeah, absolutely. You've got to focus in on something. Know your target market. Know exactly who.
Yeah.
You know who you're going to be training or who you're going to be selling to. And also the passion in terms of enjoying what you do. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It takes over your life, and it's not actually work. It sort of becomes, part of your life and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your job sort of morphs into that, and if you don't enjoy it, you can't get out of bed in the morning. You've just got no chance.
Yeah. I think it's interesting as well what you said about how you market yourself and all the rest of it, because I suppose you're a coach. You're the coach in your business, but you're also the business person. You got your business head on, you got your marketing head on. How do you sort of find that balance of kind of working in and on your business like at the same time? Because you're coaching people, you're doing the doing, but you're also doing the, maybe that's already been done in the initial stage.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's tough. Again, you guys know more than anyone. You're spinning plates, aren't you? You're forever spinning plates, and you're spinning a couple really well. Then you notice that one's fading, so you have to go that. You've only got X amount of time in a day. It's hard. It's tough. I mean, again, one of the things that I really wanted from my own facility was something that was purposely quite low maintenance, hence a garage gym. Having been at the business centre, that there's toilets there and showers there and a reception and security and all these things, but they're all manned by other people. I'm not having to think or worry about those. I do have other staff that work from Performance 100, but we kind of have a relationship where they rent space and time from me, but in return for that, I just pretty much let them run their own ship. So I'm earning from that, but not really having to worry about it too much. So I'm not worried about staffing and CPD. And just, I suppose, just try to minimalise things as much as I can. I get asked to do a lot of stuff that I would kind of quite like to, but I've just not got time, or I think it pulls me away from my direction. I mean, I get requests every day to do group training. Mick do groups, Mick do boot camps, Mick do circuits and stuff like this. And anyone that does group training will tell you that they're a good money maker. If you've got 15 people paying £10 a session, you don't have to be Carol Vorderman to work out your hourly rate there. It's good. It's good. But that is just not me. By me doing that, it takes away attention from other things. So, because of the plan I created 5 years ago and how it's just slowly evolved, I'm just happy and content with me, being me, doing my own minimalistic thing. And
self-awareness, isn't it?
And if that means other gyms, other trainers, other people pick up these clients that wanted to come to me, I'm not bothered. I'm absolutely not bothered. I advise clients to go to other gyms every day. It don't make any odds to me because I'm happy in the product that I run.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's almost like the clothes shop example. You know, if you are Hugo Boss and you focus on selling men's suits, if Nike come to you and go, I've got a really good product, you know, if you don't have it, someone else is going to have it. We'll go, well, let them have it. We're not bothered. We kind of do what we want to do, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately, there's enough clients for everyone to go around. There are 70 million people in the UK, and the vast majority don't exercise. So you just focus on you, minimalize things, but just maximize any time and energy you've got, and anything else that comes along within reason, just let someone else do it. Really, Don't worry about it.
Sounds like a good couple of takeaways there in answer to Paul's earlier question about what you'd advise people. Keep it simple, for one.
Yeah.
And number two, be really disciplined about what you say yes to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because, you know, if you're chasing money or you're chasing something else, or you just can't say no to things, and that's in any business, you find that you're spreading yourself too thinly, and you could lose your passion for it because you find you doing things that you're not interested in. I mean, we've done it. We've tried products that, number one, didn't work for our customers, and two, didn't really work for us because we weren't interested in them, and they were not a success.
It's that level of self-awareness, like you've clearly got. It leads to happiness. Also leads to success, and I can tell you've got that because if anyone's not driving and listening to this, just go on Instagram, type in Mick Blythe, because your content, you can tell you don't give a shit about what people think of you. You turn your phone on, you record a video of you doing exercise, doing lunges down the street during lockdown. You don't care. And the thing
doing funny stuff, doing daft stuff, you know, it's like it's actually refreshing to see because you get a lot.
Brilliant.
You know, people use social media, don't they, to flex and to show off and stuff like that. And I think your social media is actually a bit of a breath of fresh air because it's like,
oh, thank you.
This guy's he's doing what he's passionate about, and he's sharing stuff that he either finds funny, interesting, just worth sharing. So you know, it's probably another good takeaway for anybody.
Thank you, guys. I mean, you know, I just think as well is that, you know, I have been doing the job a long time. You know, next year is my 22nd year in the industry, and you know, within that, I've not just spent a lot of time in the industry. I've done almost every role within it. You know, and I think what's really helped me is that I kind of got into social media age-wise quite late because I'm old. You know, I didn't have a mobile phone until my 18th birthday. That's how old I am. I've only been on social media 9 years or whatever. So, you know, I probably like to think that I'm at a stage in my life as well, work-wise and personally, where I don't really. I do care what people think, but not majorly. If someone wants to call me out for my content, they can do. If they don't like it, they don't like it. If it's a technical thing that they disagree with, I will have a conversation with them about it. You know,
that's massive in fitness, isn't it?
People, of course it is. You know, a lot of it's subjective anyway. I think a lot of personal trainers and coaches, though, they go into it quite young. I've got no stats or data to prove this, by the way. It really is just an observation, but I think there's an awful lot of personal trainers that have not got families. You know, that probably is an age thing. You know, because biologically you come into it quite young, and so they don't quite understand people and, you know, psychology and logistics as well as someone a bit older as well. And again, like I said earlier, I just think people get a little bit lost in that they're trying to prove to the world that there's something else, but when in reality, there's something else completely, and there's like a bit of a disconnect, and I think people can see through a disconnect. Humans are very good at reading body language and patterns. If someone walks into a room and they're not happy, you just know they're not happy.
Yeah.
You just know. If they start doing things that are idiosyncratic, you just know. So, while other personal trainers are saying, oh, this is my content, but in actual fact, they're living in another way, people just see through it. And I just like to think that when people see my content and they know me, they kind of think, well, that's just Mick being Mick that. Because in actual fact, Mick's always done like exercise up and down his street. Even as like a 16-year-old lad, he'd do walking lunges up and down his mum's and dad's drive. And the reason why he's not asked about that is because years before that, when he was a sports mad kid, he spent all day, every day playing football or cricket or tennis on his dad's drive, getting shouted at by neighbours. So that just feels like normal and natural to me. When I put a picture of my dinner on, just like a plate full of chicken nuggets, people think, well, actually, that's just what Mick eats anyway, that, to be fair. He's never eaten couscous or kale in his life because he just can't stand it. Yeah. Whereas some talk about, all this nutrition thing that you have to eat.
Yeah.
Well, it's good, but you don't have to be like that all the time.
You're in pretty good shape as well, to be honest, mate. You can't see on when we put.
You can't really see. That's why I'm looking all right, mate. In reality, you'll see I'm not.
But no, I believe you. Go on to Mick's Instagram. Yeah, he's you're in decent shape, I must say, mate.
I had a look this morning. Chicken nuggets and fish together. And tomato sauce. Looks like
surf and turf, mate. Surf and turf. If someone would have put a picture on of steak and prawns, they'd have said that's like perfect. Yeah. What's the difference between cod and chicken? Honestly, tell me that.
No, I can't.
No, it's brilliant, and like you say, it's real as well. It's not that pretentious kind of. I'm a personal trainer, a fitness person, using all these fancy words and trying to pull people up on technical stuff. I'm just, or nutrition. It just is what it is, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah,
so,
we touched on it last week with Tom Bennett from Pose and Presto. Now, I think what holds a lot of people back is fear of judgment, especially on social media at the moment. From other people and comments, and like I just mentioned, in the fitness industry, it must be massive. You get people saying, "Oh, you're wrong. That exercise is rubbish. You're doing it wrong. Your form's shocking. Your diet's crap." That's rife in fitness as well. So it takes some mental strength, like yourself, to just still go all in on yourself, and self-awareness and confidence and belief in yourself is obviously it takes a lot of that, especially in fitness.
Yeah, thank you.
But we've talked a lot about the business side of it and entrepreneurship, but I want to go into fitness, especially at the moment. There's a lot of talk about mental health, and again, we talked on it on the podcast last week as well. Through COVID, it's just been a nightmare, especially mental health wise. It's probably hard to put a figure on it and stuff, how many people or more people are struggling on it with it. What's your opinion on, because for me, fitness, going to the gym, doing a 6-mile run on the weekend is absolutely key for my mental health, and especially whilst running the business. I honestly don't know what I'd do without it. It's massive for me personally. So what are your thoughts on that, on the importance of fitness, not only through COVID and lockdown stuff, but for people running a business, or just for people's mental health in general?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. 100%. I think people have always known that exercise is good, not just for physical, but for mental health. If you look at the whole structure of professional sport in the country, how professional football teams and rugby teams kind of got started, it by and large came from large-scale employers who had, hundreds and hundreds of men at the time on their books. They realised that they had to get them out of the work environment, whether it was actually playing or watching sport, and get them just doing physical. Yeah. you know, people have always taken part in sport and exercise for health and leisure for thousands and thousands of years. You know, the ancient Greeks and Chinese and Egyptians spoke about it. So it's going to be no different now. If anything, it's probably going to be more important now because in everyday lives, we're just far less active, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, we all spend a lot more time sat down, indoors. You know, every invention that's made. I don't know what that were, sorry. I genuinely don't.
Some invention breaking, I think, behind you.
That's the sound of someone else's problem when I go back to work in a bit. That. You know, every invention that's made is designed to make life easier, isn't it, ultimately? Yep. So, yeah, anything that just gets us up, just gets us stretched out and elongated and gets us moving is always going to be a good thing. Again, probably because of my kind of background as a sports mad kid, I feel that I have to do something every day. You know, luckily, touch wood, you know, I don't class myself as ever having had, you know, mental health issues. But in the same breath, my wife would say, well, you kind of have, because if we're going out for the day, you'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go in the gym just because you've done it. And I suppose that is a little bit of an addiction type thing, isn't it, really? You know, me training in the morning, regardless of what time it is or how cold it is, it makes my day better. Yeah. You know, it really does. It's my sanctuary, you know. Yeah. I love training other people. I train dozens and dozens of other personal trainers and coaches each year, but I love to train myself. You know, I like to get on. You probably heard me when you were next door. Get the music on, turn it up full blast. We've already discussed, I don't really care what other people think. That is my hour, and I'm training. So for people that feel the same, to have not only had so much other stuff taken off them this year, but also gyms, which remember for a lot serve as social circles as well. It's hard. You know, that is tough. That is really, really tough. You know, I see a lot of social media posts by young people, you know, and they're talking about how much they miss the gym and how desperate they are to go to the gym, and that they've been in tears because the gym's been shut. And you kind of think, come on, it's not that bad. But then you think, no, Mick, come on. You know, without a gym, you would have felt like that. As a young person, your social circle is life as well, isn't it? I mean, to think I'd have been 21 and I'd have not been to Ibiza and seen my mates for a year. I mean, the thought of that just like makes me shudder. So it's no surprise people have found it hard not exercising.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not just a fitness coach. You're a mentor to people and a sort of got that leadership about you as well, which I suppose does kind of revolve around face-to-face contact as well. So you know, it's probably been a tough time for on both sides of it, for your side because that's your circle as well, and you know, for your clients as well. But yeah, I wondered about that actually. Have you always had those sort of? I suppose it comes from your education background. Maybe, I don't know. I'll ask you to say in your own words. But have you always had those sort of leadership qualities and the sort of keenness to nurture people's development and stuff like that, or in fitness and beyond?
I mean, who knows? I don't know really. I mean, you know, the age-old argument in leadership is: are you born with it, or is it created? And, you know, there's always countless arguments here or there. I did a workshop, actually, the weekend just gone about real high-performance clients and psychologically and physically what are they like and what makes them tick. And we had content provided by Royal Marines, paratroopers, elite sports people. And even they all have their own views on leadership. Some think it's born, it's genetic. Some think it's created. So I don't know. I don't know. Again, I know I keep talking about it, but I do think my kind of sporting background has helped with that. I always played football, cricket, rugby, hockey, in hockey teams and stuff like that, because I just loved it so much. I was that like 8-year-old lad that would go up to a group of teenagers and go, "Can I play?" And just get in and mix it. But teaching background as well. You can't be a teacher for any length of time unless you're just comfortable talking in front of people, taking a bit of flack, dealing with tough situations. I've given lectures to hundreds of people at a time, and that's quite a daunting feeling, that, particularly like a university lecture hall where you can't see them, but they can see you. So having done that, again, I suppose it's just natural that when then you're working with a smaller group of people, it just doesn't feel as hard, really. It just doesn't seem as problematic, I think.
I think that does come naturally, leadership and being able to do that, what you just described. I really do.
Yeah, I guess you've been drawn to that sort of thing, haven't you, through teaching and then going on to what you've done. Yeah.
You'd be the captain of a football team, Mick. If you were in the Premier League team, you'd be the captain.
Do you think?
And then you do, when you retire, you do punditry for a couple of years and then you go into management. You'd be the Frank Lampard, I think.
You think? I'll take that.
Definitely.
Yeah, but a big team sport emphasis there. Sports you mentioned, cricket, rugby, football, hockey, all that stuff. That brings that out, because you're dealing with different personalities. You're dealing with people
100%.
all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know what the data and statistics are now. I've not got a clue, but quite a few years ago, there was lots of data from America that showed a disproportionately higher number of business leaders, CEOs, politicians, etc. They all played sport at like a high school and university level and stuff like that. And again, is that cause and effect? Did they always have those qualities and that's why they played sport? Or did sport create those abilities? Who knows?
Go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think sport's got a big part to play in people's confidence and people's, ability to deal with people, like I just said. I think, it has got a big part to play, like whether you say which way around it is, whether it's correlation or causation or whatever, it's, I think it's massive.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. I play football every Tuesday night. Well, we haven't for a few months. We're getting back next week, and it helps me massively. I forget about work. I forget about business. It's a 1 hour where I can just, sort of relax and sort of download. And I'm the loudest. People who play with me will back me up on this, and you play with me. I'm the loudest by a mile. I just can't help it.
Without the ability to back it up.
I know, exactly. I'm awful. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't help it. I don't know what it is. Either encouragement or having a go at someone when I can't back it up myself. And again, for mental health, I can't recommend it enough for anyone listening that wants to start a business or is just stressed out to hell. Go for a run, start building up your confidence running, or go to the gym.
Well, it's healthy habits, isn't it? I mean, Mick, you said earlier about getting up at 5 a.m. to exercise as being like an addiction, but actually, it's more just a really good habit. And
it is.
If you're in that, if you're in that space, that's brilliant. It's better than going out drinking or whatever else you might do. I mean, you can do that as well, but
Let's wrap it up, Mick. I want to wrap up with what's your main tip for people that can't stay motivated, that they want to either lose weight or put on muscle or get to a certain weight, or they want to be able to run 10k but just can't even run down the street or can't get motivated for it, or want to start eating healthier. What's your tip to stay motivated, stay dedicated?
I mean, it's tough. It really is tough. That's the reason why everyone in the country, if you stop any person in the street and you say to them, is exercising and eating healthy good for you? They will all say yeah, because everyone knows it. But the reason why the majority of the population don't do that is because there are so many internal instincts fighting against that. Now, despite what we might think of ourselves, humans are animals, and, in almost every way, we are no different from a dog, cat, squirrel, whatever. And within every animal in the animal species, their overriding instinct is survival. And the best chances of increasing the odds of survival are living in a safe, comfortable, predictable environment where you're not exposing yourselves to stresses and strains. And ideally, you can get as many calories on board as possible with expending the least amount of energy. That's just basic human survival. When you watch these wildlife programs with David Attenborough, or you go to the zoo, you pay like 50 quid to take your kids to the zoo, and like every animal's asleep because, they've been fed that morning, so they might as well just conserve energy, And we are exactly the same. We are exactly the same. Probably up until several hundred years ago, maybe less than that actually, the world, though, just didn't allow us to live in that environment, Food was scarce, we had to go and work in fields and factories and, all these sorts of things. But now we mentioned it already, the world is very different. Every invention that is created is to make us life easy. And we're ridiculous with it. There's a kettle there. I've got tea and coffee and milk. But if my wife came home for lunch and went, "Do you want it for a Starbucks?" I go, "Yeah, come on, yeah." So rather than making a cup of tea and coffee myself, we're getting in the car, driving and spending £10, £15 on something just because it's easier and just because it's nicer, And that's just how we are and how we're going to be. Those things, iPhones, the internet, Starbucks, they are never going to go away. So in order then to override those instincts, we've got to find a why. We've got to find a purpose. Because if that why and purpose is strong enough, it immediately overrides all those things. Becky went to me, my wife, "Do you want to go to Starbucks? But we're going to have to walk it. It's about 4 or 5 miles." I'd suddenly go, "No, I'm all right, Tar." But if she went, "At the end of it, there's £1 million. Do you want to do it?" I'd run it. So it's not the fact that I can't do it. It's because I don't want to do it. But if there's a why, if there's a purpose, that overrides them. And that's the same for people with exercise, for example. They know they need to train. They know they need to lose weight. They tell themselves they are going to train. But after a long day at work, they get home to a nice warm house. They sit on the comfy sofa. They turn on the flat screen TV. They start scrolling through Insta. Every signal they've got just says, "No, don't go to the gym. It's a risk. It's uncomfortable. It's a stress. Just stay in." And while you're staying in, you might as well have something to eat. And that is a real problem. That is a real problem. So what you've got to do to clients is almost like plant seeds. If you come in too strong, listen, you're crap, you're rubbish, you're demotivated, you're letting yourself down, you're letting your family down, go and lift that. They don't do it. Because again, someone been in your face shouting, that's going to trigger defensive instincts, isn't it? So they're going to put a wall up and back away. So the key with me and my clients is just get them moving, first of all. I've got like a template I like to follow in the first few sessions to check how they move and strength and stuff like that. But everything's purposely quite relaxed, quite enjoyable, lots of conversation about them doing lots of talking, just trying to make it a quite pleasurable experience. So when it's time for the gym the next day and all those instincts are kicking in, other instincts kick in and say, "Well, actually, you quite enjoyed it last night, didn't you? And you know, Mick's all right. You know, he's a decent bloke. You know, he's got the radio on. He made her a cup of coffee. So they go, and they go, and they go, and then for each passing time they go, you get them to work a little bit harder, which makes them feel a bit prouder, a bit happier. They start to see results, which gets the ball rolling. You try to make it a habit, you know, so that they get into the habit of going. But like I mentioned, you just plant, you know, small little seeds. You just try to find out why people do things. You like to find out, in particular, what they enjoy. And hopefully, and listen, this is not a foolproof plan. Quite often this doesn't work. It doesn't. But hopefully these seeds start to grow. And before you know it, you know, although a few months ago, these people were quite shy, unfit, lacking confidence, you could tell not majorly enjoying it. Suddenly, they just like different people. Because if you can unlock that door, if you can make exercise a habit, if you can make progression an addiction, you've pretty much got them for life. You know, you've pretty much got them for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that is hard. That is hard. You know, you're only one person seeing them for 2 or 3 hours a week. As bad as it sounds, and quite often they don't know they're doing it. They've got like partners or kids at home that say to them, "Oh, you're not going to gym tonight, are you? I want to see you." Or, "Oh, I thought we'd go out for some tea." So they don't do it. You know,
sacrifice, isn't it?
All these things. It's hard. You know, and you know, because of who we are at the gym and who we train and as business model and who we advertise, you know, I do like to think that I get a lot more performance clients than other gyms. You know, we attract clients from other gyms that, you know, are more drawn to that sort of environment. But even then, it's hard. You know, motivation is like that. It's like a wave. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. But, you know, because of age and experience, you know, I like to think you can kind of spot those subtle signs and just put measures in place. You know, not take it personal. You know, not start going on rants, or you're 10 minutes late, you know, you're rubbish, you're crap and stuff like that. Because that'll have the opposite effect. You know, just try to find out what the issue is. You know, I've had a lot of tough conversations with online clients during lockdown and really brilliant clients that have just been flat as pancakes, that have been cancelling sessions. But that's not a personal thing. We know the reasons why. The reasons why. You just help, you support, you try to put things in place. You know, you reassure them, look, we'll be open soon. If you don't want to train online, why don't you have a program you can do in your own time? You know, let's just do a program on stuff you enjoy. Let's not worry about having body balance and an equal measure of push and pull exercises. Just tell me 5 exercises that you quite like, and we'll just do them. You know, just keep them training, just keep them coming back, and then when gyms reopen, we'll then worry about it then.
Yeah, it's a brilliant answer. I think on that motivation thing, it's about kind of trying to even that wave out a little bit so that the highs aren't so high and the lows aren't, well, maybe not the highs aren't so high, but certainly the lows aren't as low in terms of motivation. I think we could all relate to that. But it's a brilliant answer. Like in terms of your habits and stuff like that, your habits are your 30-second little day-to-day actions. You know, for me, it used to be, well, when the gyms were open, it used to be, if I get off the motorway at that junction, I get in that lane, I'm at the gym already then. It's just that little habit, putting my indicator on. That's all I need to do. As long as I put my indicator on, I'm there. Because once I've come off at that junction, I'm going. I'm going to get there. So yeah, it's a great answer. And speaking of which, Mick, because we're sort of going to wrap up and let you go soon and get back to work. Do you want to tell us about? Just give a little plug to the latest stuff that's going on at Performance 100, latest programs you've got going on.
If that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we've got us regular kind of strength and conditioning, athlete development, and like one-to-one program happening. So if anyone's interested in stuff like that, then they can give me a shout. You know, we don't have much availability. We kind of, you know, pretty much chock-a-block, but people can always get in touch, and if I can facilitate, I will. But alongside that, you know, we do online products as well. So this year we ran, first of all, it was called Mates, a male-specific body transformation program. And then that then led to a female equivalent called Ladies, which has like nutrition, psychology and training information. We're going to be launching those again in January. I also do like remote program writing for people. So, you know, however long they want it to last, a very detailed, structured plan that they follow elsewhere. One of the things that we've seen, again, quite predictably, I suppose, during 2020 is people like themselves just finding how good garage gyms can be, you know, always thinking it's going to be a bit crap this, but they want to train. So they bought kit, they've done the garage out, and they've kind of thought, you know what, I quite like this. Yeah. You know, it saves time. It's brilliant. You know, the kids can sit in the corner with the iPads. It's great. So a lot of people that buy these remote programs, it's for them then to do in their own time. But we just do other, you know, bits and bobs as and when we can. You know, in 2021, I am going to relaunch my kind of education workshop series. We've already done, I think it was 2 face-to-face ones at the start of 2020. A couple more have been online, but how it's going to be yet, I don't know. But we need to get those back up and running. You know, if people want to, you know, just give me a follow on social media and have a look at what I do. And then if they've got any questions, just drop me a message. I kind of pride myself on replying to every message. Yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm sure I probably have missed a few in my time, but if people are going out of the way to follow me and send me a question, then it's the least I can do is reply. And as I mentioned earlier, if I cannot facilitate them, you know, for whatever reason, I will direct them to someone else that can. I'm not going to hoard clients. I'm not about that. That serves me no purpose. It serves them no purpose. It just serves no purpose to the industry in general, really. Because if you're in this industry, you should want everyone within it to be better. And if you're not, it kind of shows you in it for the wrong reasons, doesn't it, really?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I highly recommend
brilliant stuff.
Anyone checks you out on Instagram, Mick Blythe, all one word. Yeah, and you put out videos of exercises that people can take inspiration from. Actually, I've tried a few of the exercises out, and also your comment section is littered with questions and advice. And yet you give out some great advice. You put out positivity and encouragement for people to be themselves. So definitely check it out. Make you an absolute beast. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, mate, and good to see you again. And glad that you've managed well through this year, and long may it continue. Success.
Like fellas, likewise. Listen, I remember when you moved in. I remember your unit. You know, whether you want your listeners to hear this or not, but I remember your offices right at the back, just packed full of stock, wasn't it? I remember that. But listen, you know, look at where you are now, and that's not luck. That's design. You know, 2 brilliant fellas doing good things in the right way. And I tip my hat to you. I really do. My utmost respect.
Thanks a lot, mate. You too. Appreciate that.
Yeah. 100%. Fellas, take care.
Thanks a lot. Good stuff, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Take care. Bye. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, really enjoyable conversation. Top bloke. Some great insights, and I, I think people get a lot of value from that, especially if you're a PT or a fitness fanatic, and you want to work within the fitness industry. I think Mick's got loads to offer, which he's given us a snippet of in that podcast. But go and follow him on social media, because his content's just honest. It's just authentic, funny. What a top guy, and great to speak to him and catch up with him and get his thoughts.
Yeah, we'll post one of his videos actually on our feed.
Yeah,
to help people find him. But enjoyed that. Thank you.
What else have we got coming up? Anything? Episode 4, we don't know who's going to be on yet.
No, don't know yet.
Still yet to arrange that, so we'll see about that. But we'll hopefully try and get it up for about a week after this one.
Yeah.
Whenever this goes up. Business-wise, what else have we got? Maybe another mystery box for Christmas.
Maybe another mystery box.
First one went really well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, thank you to everyone that bought. Fantastic.
So yeah, countdown to Christmas is on. So yeah, we'll see you all soon. Thanks for listening.